So welcome everyone. This is our October 2018 webinar. We try to do here at GL, we try to do a webinar every month. We're pretty reliable with that. We try to do it at the end of the month. And we've had some success with that. We've had some good feedback from our customers and existing customers, representatives, and potential customers. So we're going to keep it going. Today is a topic that, we rotate our topics, and this is a product and a topic that we have a lot of success with, especially on these webinars, and a lot of attendees try to join. The title of our topic today is Benchmarking and Drive Testing for Smartphones and Handsets for Voice and Data Quality. So we're going to talk about our products that revolve around this voice and data quality testing. And we've got a variety of things in this arena. Over the years, you may be familiar with how GL has evolved here, but we basically started with voice testing sort of primarily, and then we have, as the voice, as wideband, as these networks have expanded, obviously we've altered that for them. And we've added data testing and video testing and so forth. So we're excited to talk to you a little bit about that. Today, I'll be starting out. My name is Matt Yost, and I have a colleague with me named Raghavendra. Robert Bashevsky may be joining here and there. So we've got him on the presenters list. Also, Sanjeev will be joining. If you're familiar with our webinars, Sanjeev and I kind of are mainstays for the webinars, and Sanjeev will be monitoring all of your customer questions or questions in general that you may have throughout the webinar. You can type those into the chat window on your GoToWebinar tool bar there, and Sanjeev will be monitoring those. And we'll take a break maybe halfway through and maybe field one or two questions, but we're going to reserve a time at the end of the webinar to answer all questions. We'll take as much time as needed to do that. So please feel free to type in some questions. Also, one additional note is the webinar is getting recorded like all of our webinars, and we're going to be posting it on our website at gl.com. So let's go ahead and get started here. If you're not familiar with GL, we have been in business since 1986. We're located in Gaithersburg, Maryland in the USA. And we have sort of two divisions to our company. One of them is involved in consulting or engineering consulting services for local, state, and federal governments mainly. The other big division of GL is the test and measurement equipment, software and hardware equipment test solutions for telecom networks. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. To get into a little bit more detail about some of GL's test and measurement equipment and solutions, basically they kind of go into a couple different categories here. We can test the network, where we test the health of the network through a variety of means, either non-intrusive or intrusive testing methods. Those networks are all of the telecom and communications-based networks that are out there, from wireless to fiber optic to traditional TDM networks and so forth. So we've got products that sort of span all of those sort of networks and different modes of comm transportation. Now, some of these same products can test endpoints in the network. So the actual customer devices, or maybe devices within the network. So we've tailored some of our products and some of our testing solutions to specifically, test a particular device within the network. So those devices can again be like wireless handsets, VoIP phones, ATAs, different network devices like routers, switches, things of that nature. We've got test equipment for. So that gives you a little look into the spans of what GL does here. And let me go ahead and get started. One additional thing that I'll mention here, this slide is devoted to some of GL's representatives and where our offices are. So again, I mentioned we're in Gaithersburg, Maryland. We also have an office in Bangalore, India, and one in Shanghai, China. And we've got representatives around the world. There's actually, this is an older list. We've got representatives in virtually every portion of the world here. So, as time goes on and you may need some additional help and you'd like a local representative, we can definitely get you in touch with somebody. So let's go ahead and get started into this webinar and some of the meat of the webinar. I'm going to start out by giving you a short overview before I hand over to Raghavendra here to get some in-depth look at voice, video, and data testing. So I'll start out with a small overview for a couple slides, and then I'm going to hand over to Raghavendra. My overview, I'd like to focus on sort of the mobile communications, including voice, data, and video, sort of the topic that we're talking about today. And this slide is sort of a general slide that basically shows you different networks, different devices that GL can interface to and test. So what I'd like to get across here is GL's products in this arena are true end-to-end testing solutions. So we actually interface at the customer device. So we're truly giving you a test that represents the customer experience. So when I talk about that, I'm talking about devices such as, on the right-hand side here, smartphones, any type of traditional cell phones, mobile phones. Nowadays it's smartphones, and they can interface to a network in a variety of ways, including the traditional wireless networks, 3G, 2G, 3G, 4G, as well as voice over LTE, voice over Wi-Fi, things of that nature. So we have, and what you'll see here, and we're going to hit on it quite a bit, our solution does not care about the network per se. You may care about the network, and I'll talk to you about how those sort of merge. But our solution, our test equipment, interfaces at the handset. It doesn't matter if you're using an app to transmit your audio via Skype or whatever. It doesn't matter to us. We're going to, when we're doing voice testing, we're going to transmit audio in and out of this phone through a variety of manners, and we're going to test the phone and the network. So as we roll around here, some of the different things that we have, we can interface at the IP phone level. So we're showing a couple Cisco phones here, but we can take the place of the handset with our equipment. So we've got the speaker mic connection, and we can interface at a head and torso simulator. So some people like to get the true acoustic feel, having a hats simulator there. So we're able to interface at that level. Now, networks-wise, devices can can use 3G, LTE, mobile networks. This is sort of a replica of the smartphones, but devices, in a sense, nowadays can include your iPad or your tablets and so forth. So anything that basically has an interface via video or data, we've got the ability to come in and do a test on it for you. Traditional analog phones, fax machines, traditional PBX connections, and so forth. We can take the place of an analog phone and make calls to and from, answer calls from that network. So you're going to be, you'll see here as Raghavendra gets into it, we're going to be able to do an end-to-end test from maybe a smartphone to a traditional analog phone. That's one example. And we're going to be able to give voice quality across that connection. Now, a lot of the things that we do here when we deploy some of our services at these different locations all of that data can be shipped back to our central server. And you're going to see a little bit more about that, where all of the results from the tests that are taking place at different interfaces throughout your network will be stored in a server, and then you're going to be able to basically mine that server, get the data, get the results, get the graphs, all of that sort of back-end stuff can be shown through a web interface. So, and as I mentioned, to move forward here, as I've mentioned, GL does not care about the big green cloud here in the middle. So we don't care about the network. You may, and that's fine. You may have a particular cloud that you're trying to test, and we can do that for you. But our product is actually interfacing at the handset or at the device, the endpoint device. So we're not concerned, and that's the big point that I'd like to make here. We're not concerned about what's in the middle, how you transport it from this device to this device. We're just going to interface at the device, and how you transport that audio or data and so forth is up to you. Okay, so as stated, different networks that we support. People always ask, what do you support on the network side? Well, we support any network that you want. It could be a can and a string, literally. If you can get audio into that endpoint device, we will support it. So legacy 2G networks, 3G networks, all of them have handsets. All of them can be interfaced through our equipment, our software, our solution, and we can do testing. And what testing can we do? We're going to get into some of that a little bit more, but we can do voice and data testing, SMS testing. It doesn't matter what application you're using to do the voice testing. As I mentioned before, Skype, as you can see on here, we can test with that. We can test using Skype application or apps. Now when you get into 4G and voice over LTE and voice over Wi-Fi networks, now you're getting into some more higher speed, high bandwidth networks here. Again, same architecture applies from GL. We're interfacing at the handset, at the device, so we're not necessarily caring about the network. You may be a network provider, you may be a 4G integrator, and you'd want to test that network to make sure that it's okay. So you just have to supply a couple handsets or so forth, and we can test using that network. So again, we're at the endpoint, just to make that clear. With these types of networks, when you're getting into 4G and above, you may have heard of sort of these over-the-top services that are available. So voice riding on, the IP and things of that nature. With our architecture, with GL's approach to all of this, that becomes a moot point on, can you do that or not? People ask us, can you do over-the-top service? Yes, we can, because we're interfacing at the handset. What your handset is doing and how it interfaces to your network is up to you. Okay. And with that approach, we're ready to go here with the 5G deployments that are starting up. We will be able to test voice over 5G, any 5G services that use voice, data testing with 5G networks, and so forth. So in conclusion of the summary, just again, I'd like to point out that our product is at the endpoints. We interface to your devices. We can do voice. We can do data testing using some apps that go on the device. We can do video testing. All of that testing can be done from point to point, point A to point B. All of that testing can be done with multiple points, so you can have 10 probes deployed in your network. All of the results of those testing devices that we have and have deployed can be sent back for analysis, and what we're showing here at the bottom of the screen is a central system that's going to be storing all of that data and all of that, the collected data, voice files, the quality scores, the data quality statistics, and so forth. And then reports can be generated, and shown to you as the administrator of the network, the client. So you can take a look at what's going on in your network, what's going on between this point and that point, and so forth. So this is the overview of how we deploy, how our architecture is sort of laid out. We're talking here in this webinar about voice, data, and video. Now I'm going to hand over to Raghavendra, who's going to give you a little more detail on each of these voice, data, and video solutions that we have and how we're actually doing it.
Thank you, Matt. Hello, everyone. So first we go to voice testing. So yeah, as you can see on the screen in the center actually, so we have one of our product which is called as a VQuad Probe HD. So it consists of a inbuilt VQuad software. Actually, it has an embedded PC, so with the VQuad software and Dual UTA HD hardware. So it's very portable unit. So this can control mobile devices for setting up calls, confirm call setup, and then perform voice quality. So along with this, we can also define other KPIs like delay measurement, signal and noise level gain, then audio dropouts, power, frequency measurement to check if the voltage is sustained or not. So these kind of KPIs we can define with this voice quality. So this unit is very good for benchmarking because these units are very portable, so they can go into cars or bus and get power and also get power directly from the vehicles, or can set up the battery for this. So like it can be placed in a lab as well, so which looks like a black box where nobody will be disturbing the setup, and the test will be running uninterruptedly. So it has a couple of interfaces. As you can see, it has two-wire interfaces. It has a Bluetooth interface. It has a handset interface. So it has a 3.5 mm jack interface. So normally, like we are a headset to anything actually. So say for example, you want to test a mobile phone. So basically, like very important thing is like we actually do the off-the-shelf phones. Like we doesn't require any specific routed phones or anything. Like normal off-the-shelf phone will be fine for us. So these mobile phones, we can do it in two ways. One, it can be a Bluetooth interface, or maybe using a 3.5 mm jack cable, so ACC cable. So we can do normal side 1 to side 2 call, or normal phone feature making a calls, or maybe we can use third-party applications like maybe a Skype or WhatsApp, or maybe your own application which you have developed to make a call. So those third-party application apps also we can test using this. So like as Matt mentioned, like we are like the endpoint side or the customer experience side. So that will be very easy for us to capture the voice and get the Morse code. So we have a GPS as well over here to get the lat and longitude informations. So which is very much important for the drive test, so that we can identify in which location or which area we have drop, or which area it is excellent, so that to analyze where when we do drive test where exactly there is a fault. So the GPS plays a very important role. So GPS is also important to find the one-way delay, which I'll be explaining in the next couple of slides. So all these results which will be accumulated once the Win performs the test, and it will be pushed to central database. So that you can open the browser and you can see the results. Okay, regarding the next slide. So here actually the prime reason to use this solution is for voice quality. So during the establishment of the call from maybe from side 1 to side 2, or like anyway any sites, so you can send and record the voice file, and yeah, you can send and record the voice file. So the other end can receive the voice file and compare that recorded file with the original file, and you will get the Morse code. So you can use different interfaces to test, like mobile to mobile, or maybe 2G to 4G network, or maybe to mobile to 2-wire, or 2-wire to VoIP. So all these combinations you can use. You can test this. You can also, but this is very important, like you can also test the voice quality of the conference calls. So that is also very important actually. Regarding the next slide, yeah. So our voice quality utility like consists of libraries which uses Polka, ITUT P863. This is the library which we are using. So one more thing is like VQuad actually supports all narrowband, wideband, and super wideband for 4-wire interfaces. Then narrowband and wideband for Bluetooth interfaces, and also narrowband and wideband for 2-wire interfaces. So once we get the MOS, so we can also get the signal level, noise level, gain, jitter, and delay measurement as well, so that you can determine why your MOS score has been dropped, or how it is dropped, so that using this parameter you can determine why it has happened. So one more thing we have is like you can control our VQuad and VQT applications remotely using our CLI or APIs. So you can use our API, you can put it in your own scripts, and you can automate it. So you can use our APIs in your Python script, and you can automate it as well. So regarding delay measurements. So delay measurement is very important for the test. So you can find out what is a one-way delay, or what is a delay between side 1 to side 2. So we do delay measurement as well by sending a voice file and recording that voice file in exact same time, and analyzing the recorded voice file against the sent voice file to provide a very accurate one-way delay. So this one-way delay can be found in 2 ways. Maybe in the same, if it is in the same location, so we will be using internal clock. If it is in a different location, like maybe in a moving drive test, or if from one static point to drive test, so we'll be using GPS clock to find this one-way delay. Moving on to the round-trip delay measurement. So over there, if you doesn't have a GPS, so but you need to find the delay measurement. So you can send and record on the same device at the time, and by putting other end in the loopback mode. So we can figure it out like what is the delay time from sending to recording, so that you can find the round trip delay as well. So these tests are very flexible, and it can be used in a script, VQuad script, and you can run the script in each call. So actually it is completely automated. So no need of worry. You can just write a script and you can just start it, and it does all the functions, whatever it has written in the scripts it will be doing. So it is completely automated. So regarding the drive test features, so as I said earlier, since it's a portable device which can be placed in car, bus, or perform drive tests, which you can keep it in your drive test, and you can do automation, and you can get the results automatically, and you can see that those results and KPIs from the web viewer point of view. So there is no worry that you can do drive test and you can see the results sitting in your any location, and you can see the results live. In the sense it will be updating into database immediately. So this can be also be you can do high density testing as well. So you can use 12 phones. So you can use unlimited phones. Like you can test the high density as well when you're doing drive test.
Yeah, so one thing I'll point out here is sort of important to say. Raghavendra mentioned that we can have these devices out in cars, out in vans, out on a bus, even public transit buses. We've done that before, and they can be traversing a city or town or something, and all of that data is being collected and sent back to the central database, and then as a user, as a person who's analyzing that data, you're going to be looking at a screen similar to the one we're showing here, which shows you a drive test map. Okay, so it's showing you where your areas are that are good, bad, and you can set up criteria. So you can say, I want certain scores to reflect a green dot for good, a yellow dot for maybe good, or okay, and then a red dot for a problem area. So these things are all very flexible within our solution, and can be customized to your likings. So our drive testing capabilities with the GPS and so forth is very nice, and our results and our graphs and so forth look very nice for customers to review and take a look at for additional analysis.
Yeah, data testing like voice testing. we also do data testing. So like currently actually we need to install an application with it's a same phone, like it's a normal phone which is available. So we can use Android phones, you can use iOS phones. So we need to install these applications in that particular phone, and the test can run through phone, so manually, or we can also do data testing through scripting as well, automation as well. So we can run the script on the VQuad, and VQuad will control the phone and it will perform the tests. So one more important thing is we can run the script in the same way. The script can contain a voice quality testing as well as data testing at a time, and there will be no worries that the test will be happening independently, and it will not interrupt between each other. So like you can see on the screen, so you can run the test under any networks, like maybe a wired network or wireless network or internet. So as you see on the screen, so you can see the GUI of our application, which we call it as a net test. So you can see the test running on the different phones, maybe on tab, on iOS, or maybe on the Android devices. So when the tests are performed, the results will be generated with the GPS location, so which will be helpful for the benchmarking and to know where the results are, like where the results are, it is very good or excellent. So in this condition, so you can find where exactly on which location the result was what. So actually our application connects to our central server, which we call it as our mobile device controller, which we has MDC. So we can run data test directly from the app or use VQuad for automation, as I mentioned. So we can write the script. So it is completely automated. So once you can run the script and you can perform data and then voice at a time with the same phone. So there will be no interaction. So in backend data test should be running and you can perform voice quality as well. So there is no interference. So you can run both tests at a time and you can see the results, and that will be very helpful for the when do drive testing.
Yeah, and that's a good point you're making. And we've mentioned a couple times here about the scripting. And sometimes the scripting can scare people away a little bit. But in our case, our scripting is very, very easy to use, to modify. And we give you probably, a 95 to 98% script that you will never have to modify. But you can always go in and take a look at it and change it. It's very plain English written. It's point and click. There's a script editor that can be used at point and click, and you can modify it. You can comment outlines, things like that. It's very easy to use. Even a person like myself who has no programming experience can get in and write a script. I can write one from scratch. It's that easy to use. The ones that we give with the product, like I said, will handle 95% of your test cases. And if you have that extra 5%, we're obviously willing to help you develop it specific to your need. But in most cases, customers go ahead and develop it themselves because it's very easy to use. So the scripting is something that we're mentioning. It's kind of behind the scenes running. It tells the test what to do and how to do it, what order to do things in. So, and what Raghavendra mentioned here about having the script do voice and data testing in within the same script is all possible. It can be done simultaneously. So.
Yes, exactly. Yes, correct. So yeah, since the app is very portable, so we can put our phones in our pocket and we can do drive tests. So it is very easy for us to do drive tests with these conditions. So you can get a couple of KPIs here for the drive with that data testing, like latency, then upload and download test results, RSSI, then battery level, SMS test, email test. So all those kinds of KPIs you can get it from data testing. Like data testing, we also have an app for video testing. Yeah. So basically we are doing the video conferencing testing from point A to point B. So that is by sending the predefined structured video and receiving the same predefined structured video in the other end and calculating the MOS score. So we can run this test on Android phones, Windows PCs, and Linux PCs. So it's actually a bidirectional. So when structured video is sent, so it is a bidirectional video which will be sending. So we'll be getting the results on the bidirectional way. So all the results which we have received, which will be pushed to database. So simultaneously. So yeah, so since we are sending the structured video, so you can create the structured video here, so that what kind of structured video you want to send it from one side to another side, using what kind of video codec you want, what kind of audio codec, what is the resolution. So these kind of features you can put it, you can create your own structured video, you can send it. Since this is also an automation, since it can be also be automated, so you can you can control these video conferencing as well from the VQuad side. So you can write the script for automating video conferencing as well. So it will connect to video conferencing phones, and then it will send a command to make a call. So all those features, and then it will give us the results. So this feature as well, it can be automated as well. So you can have a script which contains video, which contains audio, voice quality, as well as the data testing. So all the three can be run at a time independently with the same phones without any issues. So so in the same way, this can also be like installed in an app in a phone. So we can do drive test very easily without any difficulties. So we can do drive test while walking, maybe in a car or a bus. All the results automatically will be sent to a central database. Since like one more thing which I like to express you, that like we are coming up with the YouTube video streaming testings, which will be coming in 2019 actually.
Can you repeat that one more time? I didn't quite understand. What are you saying? We're coming out with some video testing?
Yeah, YouTube video streaming testing.
Oh, okay. All right.
So yeah, so all the different types of tests which we have performed, like maybe voice, data, and video. So those results which comes to the central database, which we call it as a web viewer, so which can be opened in a browser. So like normally you can query results, you can download the custom created reports, you can like KPIs, you can download those in a PDF or Excel formats. So one more very important thing is from central database, you can remote control VQuad. So if you are doing drive test, and you can control that VQuad from the web viewer, and you can push scripts, you can run the scripts, and you can monitor it, and you can see the results live from the central database. So as you can see on the screen, so you can see a couple of results which we have performed. So so this is the plots of map, this is the result. So this all our web viewer is like a like customized. So you can customize web viewer as per your requirement. So you can create your own tabular views for voice, data, and you can merge it all the KPIs together, and you can create the custom KPIs, then you can download it. So this is what WebView does actually, which will be very like helpful for user to fetch the results, whatever it is comes to the database, and make it easy to view. So here actually you can see the tabular view of the voice quality here, where you can create your own custom tables, query the results as you wish, according like time. You can have time filter, you can have time search. So, and you can download these reports into PDF and Excel formats. So this is the slide actually, a tabular view for the data testing. So this is as well, this is also customable. So as per your comfortable things, you can create your own custom data testing results column.
Yeah, and to point this out, this is the raw results. So each line here represents a test that we've run. Is that correct, Raghavendra?
Yes.
Okay, and this screenshot in particular is for data testing, and the previous one was for voice, and I'm sure we have one for video. Now, the one thing to mention that I will bring up, just to re-mention it, you mentioned during the video testing, and that is something coming out in 2019. I think you mentioned it. It's a video streaming update. Is that right?
Yes, YouTube video streaming. Yes.
So can you tell us just a little bit about that? What that is compared to what we currently have, and so forth. Just highlight that just a second, because I know that there's been some customers and some queries about that. So we want to we kind of browsed over that quickly. I want to re-mention that now. Can you explain that just a little bit more to us on what that's going to give us?
Yeah, actually, we need to send and record. Like we'll be sending YouTube videos, and we'll be telling what is actually quality of the streaming from the other customer perspectives.
Okay, so that's a customer experience, quality of video, streaming video application that tests that. Okay.
Like you can see that graph view of the results in the screen. So you can get the line graph, bar graph, and the pie charts. So which can be downloaded as well. So this is the graphical view, so that you can see the results of VQT results on the screen. So these are the results which we get in that particular time filter which we have provided. So this is also customizable. So you can see the results accordingly. So actually, this is the Google map which we have, which is inside the web viewer actually. So we have implemented Google Maps in web viewer so that we can plot it out, the drive test which we are doing, so that you can see the drive testing path, and you can see the results. So all the bulletins, if you click on that, you can see the result screen, what happened on which location this was there, and what was the score, what test was running. So all the information can be provided in that in this plotting. So this is actually can be customized. This screen can be customizable. On the right side, you can see what is the color combination means, what is the test. So all the information you can have it, like you can customize it, and you can see it on this screen. So you can customize the report. Say you want to put the data test, voice test, video test KPIs in one report with line graph and bar graphs, which can be downloaded. So that we call as a custom reports. So that can be downloaded in PDF, Excel formats. So these custom reports, whatever you have downloaded, this can be scheduled as well. So no need of going every time to the web viewer and seeing the report. So you can schedule that report to your email ID or to SMS, so that we will be scheduling that with, like, say for example 2 hours results you want to send it to your email ID. So we can send it as well. Or maybe every day around 9 a.m. you want to send the results for 24 hours results for every day at 9 a.m. you can schedule that as well. So this is the important feature, so that there is no requirement of like you need to go inside and have it. So you can get it to you as well.
So at the end here, Raghavendra, we're going to talk about the hardware platforms that the VQuad uses, all of our tests use. You can see that. You can go ahead and start with that.
Yeah. So actually on the left side, as you can see, so this is the Dual UTA HD hardware here. So that will be connected to a PC where we have our VQuad software which controls this hardware using a USB cable. So this is the one setup which I have mentioned. So other one which we were talking about, which is very portable, that is VQuad Probe HD. So this has an embedded PC with the Dual UTA HD hardware and the VQuad software.
Right. So the one on the right basically has an embedded embedded host PC. It's all built into this. It's a very modestly sized device. It's fairly small. It's a good device. It's kind of hardened. It's a hardened device, so it can be put in a van or a car and a bus, something like that, and doesn't require. Well, it has a host computer. It's built into it. The one on the left is sort of our traditional offering, which is a Dual UTA HD, which connects to the host computer. We're showing a laptop via a USB cable. So both are identical in functionality-wise. It's just a matter of packaging. Okay.
So yeah, this is the new platform, so which is used for high-density testing. So which I have mentioned, we can use high-density testing as well. So which we call it as a MTOP. So it can connect 6 Dual UTA HD hardware, that is 12 independent phones for the testing. So it has an embedded PC as well. So which can be fully automated, and you can automate data, voice, and video testing in this. So in this MTOP, any of our GL product can go into, say, if you want packet scan, T1 even probe, or OC12, any GL product can be fit into this solution. So we have a new coming soon product actually. This is ultra portable, which we call it as Vmobile. So it has a couple of Bluetooth interfaces for voice quality, and it has a Wi-Fi to connect to central database to send the results. And it has a inbuilt GPS, so we can track when we do drive testing, we can track it, and has a inbuilt battery, so there is no battery hassle. So you can use this battery. It's like a normal phone battery, so so that there is no worry of which is very important for the drive test battery.
This is Rob. If I can, I just wanted to chime in with the Vmobile, if I can. Is that okay?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So the Vmobile, we're pretty excited about this. So right now, as Raghavendra and Matt have been explaining throughout this webinar, there's multiple tests that we can run with the VQuad solution. So we've talked about voice testing. With the voice testing, we need the Dual UTA, which is the box, whether it's a small box with a laptop, or the VQuad Probe, which is an all-in-one unit, or as Raghavendra mentioned, in the MTOP in a rack system. But we need that to connect to the phone via Bluetooth or wired headset in order to do the voice. For data and for video, we just need the phone. So just the phone, put in your pocket, walking around, and the VQuad actually remotes to it. Wherever the VQuad is, the VQuad can remote to that phone and run the test. So for instance, if you put the phone in your pocket or throw it in your car or put it on a bus, whatever you want to do, it's all automated. The whole test is automated. So what we wanted to do is make the voice part more or less in your pocket type of thing. So we came up with this solution, and basically what this Vmobile has is two Bluetooth chips in it. So we can connect two different phones independent and run tests. With the Bluetooth connection, we can place calls, answer calls, and then also perform voice tests during the established call. And the voice tests include testing for voice quality for using Polka, performing delay measurements, performing audio dropout analysis, speech and level testing. All those different things can be run from this Vmobile. It also has a Wi-Fi chip in it, so it talks right back to the central system. This is where it gets instructions. This is where it sends the results, sends the events, and at the central system, that's where all the analysis is done. So the VQT analysis, the delay analysis, all that stuff is done back at the central system. It also has GPS. So everything is being stamped with the GPS location before it goes back to the central system. So we can plot it in the web viewer right with Google Maps, and you'll be able to see all your results. And it has, obviously it has a battery, so it just goes in your pocket. You walk around and everything's great. So the Vmobile's in one pocket, the phone's in another pocket, or you put it in a backpack, whatever you want to do, and you're ultra portable. So it just becomes another way to run these tests very easily. Okay, and keep in mind, this will work with any phone. So you don't have to have a rooted phone. You don't have to have a special engineering phone. Any phone that you get off the shelf, whether it's today's phone or a phone that hasn't even been developed yet, this is going to work. And it's going to work for every network. Okay, so we don't care about the network. You want legacy network, or you want today's voice over LTE or voice over Wi-Fi, or the 5G network that's coming up. You want voice over Wi-Fi. I mentioned that, but if you want, like what I meant to say, if you want over-the-top applications like Skype or WhatsApp or any of those things, this will do the testing for you. This works for all the different types of apps, and it works for all networks, all phones, just like the VQuad currently does. And this will also work with the VQuad. So if you have a VQuad sitting in a network and you have a couple of these, they'll all work in unison. So pretty excited about this coming out. It's going to come out sometime in 2019, and just provides a much more portable type of test environment.
No, it's good. Thanks for pointing all that out, Rob. It's important. I mean, a couple of the things that you mentioned, all of them were important. A couple of things are, I mean, this is a ultra portable device here. It's our new hardware that's coming out. You're not sometimes people say, oh, you got ultra portable. Well, what features are you losing? Well, with this device, you mentioned the GPS, the Wi-Fi chips built into it. We can control it. It's sending all the results back to the central database. So our testing architecture, which we showed you earlier, is all preserved with this device. You can deploy many of them. They can all be testing. They can all be controlled remotely. They can all be sending their results back. You can be seeing all that in real time. All of that testing architecture that was described earlier in this webinar has been preserved with this device. So it's a very portable version of the capabilities in this Dual UTA and Dual UTA HD that we've showed you, which is which is what Rob pointed out here.
One more thing I forgot to say. In order to control this, we can control it from, for instance, the central system. We can control it from a VQuad script or what have you. But you can also control it through an app on your Android or iOS device. So we have an app that will actually communicate to this through the internet. So the app could be, the Android phone could be right next to the Vmobile, or it can be, miles away, controlling many Vmobiles. So through that app, you can load a script, start the script, stop the script, set up the Wi-Fi connection, set up the Bluetooth connections, do all that stuff directly from the app. So we're trying to make it very easy. Even though this has like a little screen on it and some buttons, you really never have to use that. Everything can be done directly from the app with a nice bigger GUI and easier manipulation of doing things and so forth. So we are trying to make this very easy to use.
Yeah. So yeah, as you can see, as Rob already mentioned, so it's very portable, and you can use it in the bus, maybe on the train or a plane, or maybe in a pocket. So this is very portable, and you can use it because of the battery level, GPS, and all those features. So this is also, has Rob mentioned, so we can make a call from this Vmobile to the VQuad as well. So this is also supported. So we can have any number of phones, and we can test it, and all the results will be posted to database, and you can see those results in the web viewer with the plotted formats, and you can get the KPIs, and you can download the PDF or the Excel formats. So what are the real-time test scenarios which we are expecting with the drive test? So in the benchmarking. So actually the first point is a drive test. So actually our solution supports drive testing for voice quality, data testing, and video qualities. As you can see, as we already mentioned, so we can do drive test in a car, or maybe do walk testing, or maybe you can do all sorts of testings with this solution, with our solution. So actually here's a big thing is how the network supports with a high volume, or when everyone in the stadium, or with a huge crowd using voice or data in a large number at a time. So our solution supports to check how's the quality of the voice, data, and video with this kind of environment. So it is one of the important tests when it comes to the stadium or huge crowd setup.
So these are just applications that you're showing us now, sort of scenarios that how our tests or how our solutions can fit in to help these out, which is very good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. With a high volume, when the people are
environment. Yes. Yeah, I've experienced problems in this arena, similar arenas, let's just say. So that would be good. Yeah.
Well, it's basically if you have like for instance, at a football game, a U.S. football game, I always like to bring that up. So during the game, you're probably going to be able to make a call or go onto the internet or do whatever you want on your phone because a lot of people are focused on the game. But at halftime, everybody stands up. Everybody walks out of the stadium, goes, stands up, not out of the stadium, but up to the concession stand. And what do? They all get on their phone. They're all looking on the internet. They're all making phone calls, sending texts, doing that. So everybody's doing that at the same time. And when that happens, what happens with the cell sites? Do the cell sites handle it? Are calls not going through? Are calls being dropped? Are calls getting degraded? So those are some of the things that you can actually test. That's why we call it stadium testing. It's any time where there's a huge volume of calls occurring at a localized area. So.
Yeah. Yes. Correct. Yes. So yeah. So as we already mentioned earlier, so we can perform tests from any interfaces to any interfaces. So it may be a voice quality testing, data testing, video quality testing. We can fully automate all the three tests, and we can perform end-to-end testings with the hats, maybe with the mobile phones, with the analog phones, any kind of networks. So we do support that. So so as you can see, where we can it's a customer perspective. Like we can sit in a customer location. It may be an enterprise network or it may be a residential networks. So we can run the test wherever the customer likes to have it. So we can run the test and we can get the results, and we can fetch those results from the database, and you can download the KPIs, or we can schedule the KPIs at a particular time whenever you want to have it, and it will be very easy for you to analyze the results or get the results. So these are the parameters. So you can do drive tests or drone tests as well. So you can place our Vmobile or our net test application. So inside that, and you can do drone tests as well. So these are the premises which will be doing the tests.
Okay, I think that concludes. Thank you, Raghavendra. Thank you, Raghavendra, for doing the demo for us here in the webinar. We probably have some questions that I'm going to bring Sanjeev in here and see if you got some questions for the group.
Yeah, we have got some questions from a couple of customers. So I'll just unmute a few of them, and then we'll answer them. Hello, Ben.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm from Parallel Wireless, and we have a challenge trying to test our products. Sometimes we have hundreds of phones in a chamber. We have kind of an automated test we wrote, we developed. We call it UB Controller, that controls the phones and makes like voice and data calls and like that. And we have a pretty good idea of how things are working, but for voice quality, we don't have any good way of testing that. And we wanted to find out. We were hoping to find like a way to send audio directly from the Android phone. We can, of course, there's recording apps. You can record stuff from one phone to another, but there doesn't seem to be any easy way to actually send audio out of the phone. And I'm wondering, does eMobile actually do that, or is that?
So what the Vmobile and the VQuad do is they become a headset to the phone. So with the Vmobile, we're a wireless headset. With the VQuad, we're wireless or wired headset. So then once the call is established, we can send the audio through into the phone and out to the network, or capture it back in.
Oh, okay. So what is like if I had 100 phones that I wanted to test, what is the most economical way to do it?
One of the things that we can do, and we can set this up in a script, is set up the 100 phones as Bluetooth. Pair the 100 phones to the VQuad, And then the script can actually cycle through those. So the scripts can say, okay, connect to this phone, run the test, disconnect that phone, then connect the second phone, run that test, and so forth. So we can actually go through. So you don't need 100 ports. You can actually do it with just a couple of ports.
So the question is, can we, if we already have a script running in Python, and we want to basically make calls to your stuff, can we do that as well?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. So the VQuad has a full API and it has CLI control. So you can actually send commands directly to us from your application to control what to do.
Oh, is it? Can I make like SSH to it and just run a CLI command?
Yes.
Okay. So I can basically open up an SSH connection and keep running CLI commands.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that would work. Is that all Windows or is that Linux?
It works. We have both Windows and Linux capability.
Okay.
So the API, the API and the CLI, we have Windows and Linux capabilities for both.
Okay. And when you measure the voice quality, is it just a MOS score, or do you have like detectors that tell you like if you have clipping and things like that?
So we do a lot of things. So we do the voice, the MOS, from Polka, but we also provide jitter. We provide audio dropout analysis, speech level, noise level, power. We also give you frequency analysis to, that's needed. For instance, if you're doing voice over LTE, well, we can tell you if you sustain the wideband. So there's a lot of different characteristics or metrics that come out of this, along with the MOS.
Okay, that's cool because we do 3G, LTE, and we're also doing 2G as well.
Yeah, not a problem. So in those cases, we're going to do the narrowband voice, and then if you want to go to to wideband, we support that as well.
Okay, sounds good. What is the pricing on the VQuad and some of these other products?
So a VQuad solution, like a VQuad and a Dual UTA, is well. Let me do this. Probably the best thing is if you can send us an email, we can send you a quote for all the different products. Is that
okay?
Is that a better idea?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and we can also, if you want, we can arrange a call to discuss, what we're gonna do and how we're gonna set everything up.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah.
I think the best way to do it is to send it to the email listed there on the screen and just mention the webinar and say, just give a little background.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Question and so forth. And then it'll get to Rob or Raghavendra at that point. Okay.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
That's a great question. Thank you for participating and asking a question. Keep going if you have some more. Yeah.
Just one more question.
Sure.
So, what is the need for the Vmobile? If you can just write apps on the phone that would do the same thing as Vmobile, or does Vmobile have something unique?
Well, the thing, so the VQuad and the Vmobile are headsets to the phone. In order to have, because we've also created something that is on the phone itself, an app on the phone itself to send voice. But in order to do that, the phone has to be a rooted phone, and only specific phones will work, because basically, due to some regulations, the phone manufacturers and the carriers limit what you can do on the phone. You can't send voice, you can't record voice from the phone. They don't allow that. So
yeah, so we root up all of our phones.
Okay. So there are a couple of Android phones that we support with this app, but if you want to work with any phone, then the Vmobile or the VQuad will work better, because they're just headset extensions of the phone.
Okay, now I understand. Okay, that makes sense. Yep, got it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Sanjeev, any questions? more?
Yeah, we have one more question.
Sure.
Just unmute. Yeah. Hi, Matthew.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, I wanted to find out, can this be used to measure the KPIs of an in-building DAS system? For instance, if we have, say, Verizon with its own BTS in a facility, and it's not enough, say, to cover the whole building. There's too many users, and we begin running out of capacity. Can this measure, like, you know, that situation where we're starting to begin call blocking and whatnot?
Well, again, so you said a DAC system, right?
Yeah, DAS, distributed antenna system. So in-building.
Yeah. So again, we're an extension of the phone. So we're not looking at we're not doing any network analysis. We're basically at the phone, you know, user experience of the phone itself. And if you move the phone around, or if you're trying to make calls on multiple phones simultaneously, we can support that and let you know if the calls are going through, if the quality is good, if the path is good. We can just do a path confirmation if you want. But it's all based on connecting to the phone itself, if that makes sense.
Right. So it's all the KPIs that the phone gives you. It doesn't translate anything from, say, the network.
Well, it's not KPIs that the phone gives you. It's KPIs that are coming back to the from the phone, from the network to the phone. Basically, did the call go through? Did the call get dropped? Right. You know, things like that. We can also get things like signal strength and a couple of KPIs from the network itself based on what comes back to the phone. We have access to some of those, but to actually pick off specific metrics from the network, that's something we don't do.
Okay, thank you.
Now, if the network, we do have methods to tap into, for instance, different access points of the network. You know, tap in through either legacy T1E1 or through VoIP, and get metrics in that manner. But we don't have over-the-air methods to get metrics.
Okay, so you could then, we could then have something to tap into, say, we can couple off at some point in the system, and then we can get those metrics from that point?
We could potentially do that, yes.
Okay.
If you can send us like what the diagram is and what you're trying to get, or where you're trying to access, you know, where you want us to access, we can then give you sort of an idea of how we can help.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send something over.
Yeah, it's a different set of products for that, but we've done that. So you know, one of the things we can do is create a full 3G, 4G network in the lab, for instance. You know, full network, and then we can get analysis of any point in that network. So I think we can help you with in that respect.
Okay, great. Thanks.
All right.
All right. Sanjeev, are there any additional questions?
Yeah, we have one last question from
Sure.
Alfredo.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, let me ask his question. He's asking, do you have a chart comparison of different devices and its capabilities?
A chart comparison of different phones, I guess. Not really, because again, since we're connecting to the phone, since we're just an extension of the phone, we're a headset to the phone, we can work with any device. You know, I can't stress that enough. We can work with any device, any phone. It doesn't matter what the phone is. It doesn't matter if it's a very old phone. It doesn't matter if it's a phone that's not even been created or it's been deployed. We can work with those phones because we're just a headset, either a wireless Bluetooth headset or a wired analog headset. And it doesn't matter what the network is, because the phone is going through the network. the phone is making the call. We're just a headset to the phone, so we can work with any of the headsets or any of the phones. The phones do not have to be rooted. The phones don't have to be they're special engineering phones or anything else. And you know, since we support both narrowband and wideband, we work with the voice over LTE, the 5G, things like that. So all that is supported. So there's not really a chart because we just work with everybody, and we don't really have a chart of what phone is, you know, what expected score is going to come out of a phone, because the MOS is based on the equipment, the network, the other side. There's a lot of different factors in determining the MOS score.
Rob, had to do with the VQuad, the Vmobile, the different devices that we have to test the network.
So it's our devices connected. So they all work the same, Alfredo. It doesn't matter if it's the Dual UTA connected to the phone or the Vmobile connected to the phone. It's going to work the same way. It's using the same Bluetooth chip.
But they have the same capabilities?
Well, obviously the VQuad has a lot more capabilities because it's running on a host or running on a, you know, it's got a PC associated with it. But the Vmobile has a lot of functionality for scripting, so it can do a lot of the different conditional statements and so forth in the scripting, and then all the analysis is going to be done post-processing, because all it can do is really, during the call, send voice and record voice, and then we'll take that voice and analyze it.
Okay.
But at the heart of the product, though, the Bluetooth chip is the same one used on the Dual UTA as it is on the Vmobile. So if you're asking about the quality difference between the two, there isn't one. They're both identical in that sense.
It's the same. Yeah, it's the same hardware.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Vmobile does not completely kill the VQuad, because the VQuad does have more flexibility because it is running an application, a full application. The Vmobile is a little bit more limited, but the Vmobile, in a lot of cases, if you're going to do like a walk test or a drive test or something like that, and you have a very specific requirement of doing voice quality and getting some additional metrics, delay metrics, things like that, the Vmobile will support that. It'll absolutely allow that type of functionality.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. I think we are done with the questions.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Thank you to the audience. Thanks, Raghavendra and Rob, for helping out with the webinar. You know, we mentioned below here on the screen, gl-info@gl.com. It's a good way to get a hold of us. Following up on some of the questions, we can, you know, expand on those discussions in a little bit more detail, and we do that. Keep an eye on our website going forward here. We will have another webinar toward the end of November at some point. Not sure with the Thanksgiving holiday and so forth on how and when we're going to place that, but we will do one here, give or take a month from now. Okay, thanks a lot, everyone. I appreciate you guys showing up and listening to us talk about voice, data, and video quality solutions. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.